After we spoke, it really juiced me to get my networking group up and running.
Cool.
And what I did was I was talking to a few people, and they just said, "You're going to put together a networking group." I said, "Yeah, we're in. Just tell me where and when. Just tell me we're in."
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Love Local Networking Channels. And I am absolutely thrilled to have the guest today, Michael Foreman, joining me. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here today.
Well, we've got a great topic, one that affects almost everybody. In fact, I want it to affect everybody, Michael, because I believe that networking is not just for business people anymore. I believe that networking is for everybody. In this crazy age of AI and everything that's going on, I want to teach even senior people's chat GPT networking because I've seen it change so many people's lives when they really learn how to use it for communication. And that could be within their family and friends. But to do the main functionality of networking by checking in and following up and applying that really takes it to another level. And that's why I personally love local networking. And that's why I'm so excited to have you as my guest. Now, you were one of the best networking communicators of all last year, and you've got a YouTube channel that's rocking it. So let's talk a little bit about why you love local networking and why you can help people learn to love local networking.
First of all, I love networking because that's where I am. I'm not, everybody can network on Zoom and everything else, and they do it across the country, but local networking is where you are. And networking is the base of all business, right? You can't have a business today if you don't network. And of course, if it's a brick and mortar, you've got to do local networking, but you've got to love it. And as we said before, the networking isn't necessarily just for business people. I tell everybody, the people that I coach anyway, you can network when you go to the grocery store, the retail store, or anything else like that. You turn around to the person behind you and they're talking, and you may give them a comment of something they're talking about. Make it intelligent so you don't look like a fool, but say what you want, then you turn back, right? Because really, the art of networking is a giver's gain. You have
Yeah.
to give before you receive. And if you have that in mind, if you have, okay, what can I do for this person? What can I do for these people? If you think about that, it takes all the pressure off your shoulders. And now all of a sudden, you don't mind networking. You love local networking, the same as I love local networking because I get to help everybody.
Well, what I love is with local networking, we really get to mentor each other. And you mentored me recently, and I want to explain that and give you kudos to that for that. I want to explain what happened. I got so excited about something that my wife had told me that I went to a networking event, and the first thing out of my mouth was talking about that thing. Bam! I was just so excited about it. And I got just in my face. I don't want to know about it. Rah, rah, rah. And I learned two lessons. I'm looking for people who live in love, not fear. Now, this person I was talking to obviously lived in fear. I'm just saying, those are people that you just have to recognize. Okay, I'm not interested. But what you had taught me is always, always, always let them talk first and find ways to get that initiated, to get that started. And you were my Yoda on that. And, it didn't occur to me. And I went, you know, let them talk first. And that's one of your great gems of networking.
Thank you. It's called active listening. You always have to listen to the other person first. And it's so difficult. If you're used to talking, you just want to go in there, step up and start talking to everybody. You have to turn that mindset around and you have to active listen. But when they're speaking to you, don't have any distractions. Don't look at the person in the back of the room. Look at them in their eyes. And when they finish, repeat back some of what they said to you so they know that you were listening to them. So,
Mm.
and that does a few things that says, okay, this person was listening to me. And then when you respond, you're responding to something that they said in kind. So they're paying attention to you. So it's a give and take situation. But I use something called FORM, FORM, family, occupation, recreation, and a message. And all that is that you're trying to pick up on something that they're talking about, and you're bringing that into the conversation. So let's say that they're talking about a ski trip. Talk about skiing. I was a youth baseball coach for about 16 years. I was an umpire. So whenever I can get to somebody to speak about that local sports, I'm all in and I can talk to them because know you, like you, trust you, they're going to do business with you. Ballers. I like that. Know you, like you, trust you, they're going to do business with you. Now, what are you doing when you're having them talk all that time? So, because they have a wall that's in front of them, right? You're helping to bring that wall down, and that trust factor is coming up. So, once they trust you, they'll be more apt to do business with you.
Okay, let me talk about a distinction that just kind of occurred to me. And I love to go off the cuff and when I'm doing interviews and things. But what I realized is what has made me a very, very successful interviewer was that I do listen to the guest and I do respond. And I was listening to an interview with Mel Robbins on the Today Show the other day, and she has the number one podcast in the world. And one of her things when she's interviewing people who are, world class experts, she'll listen to them, but then she'll say, so what you're saying is, remember those words, folks. So what you're saying is, and that has made me a successful interviewer, but I never really thought about playing that role while I'm networking. I do interviews and then I network, but really the combining those two is really the essence of not only successful interviewing, but successful networking as well, I think.
Absolutely. And because what she is doing, she listened to the person. She's saying, so what you're saying is same thing that you would say to somebody that you're networking with. So you're doing basically the same thing. So by you combining the two of them together, you're doing the absolute perfect way to speak with somebody that you haven't really spoken to yet, and you can get more information from them.
So let me comment on something you said, Michael, and that's that you were a baseball coach, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I wanted to create is big league networking. And the Ballers are the replacement team in Oakland for us losing the A's to Las Vegas. Okay. And they call them the Oakland Ballers. I went to a game. It was wonderful. And so, what I want to do to help grow, they have about 2,000 attendees. They made it into the playoffs and they have about 4,000 attendees. The season is about to end. I'm going to be talking to them about putting on speed network events at the Oakland Ballers games. And guess what, Michael? I'm calling it musical seats networking at the ballpark for people who don't want to play golf or don't know how to play golf. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to take a block of seats and we're going to go and we're going to network and we're going to change seats every inning. So you sit next to somebody You learn, you talk to them, look at the game, you got plenty of entertainment, you're out, it's America's pastime, talking about what they do, da da da, grab their card. Okay, everybody up, shift, next inning, meet somebody else, talk to them. What a blast. And I've been talking, we just had our Art and Wine Festival. I talked it up at the Art and Wine Festival. Every single person got a big smile on their face and said, "Man, that sounds cool." So
It
imagine
does.
combining that with one of the things, the other thing I want to do, because I love working with seniors. Okay. I'm a senior networker. I also want to network at car dealerships because of the new cars that are unbelievably great for seniors with all the AI built in. It tells you if somebody's coming up on your right, somebody's coming up on your left. It'll even help auto steer if you something happened. Backing up, with so many seniors have these things that people have trouble with. So now I want to actually combine the two. I want to network with people at the ball game and then network with people at the automobile dealership. Hey, I'm an out of the blocks thinker, that's just the way I roll. And I was taught to do that at NBC in New York. So I go with that.
Absolutely. I'm sure there are ways you can combine those two things, but you have to be very careful when you do it, especially when you're going to involve the seniors in with the networking. So the seniors are better off staying with seniors, I should say. But I shouldn't really say that because there are some, I work with a few who are ballers themselves. They're networkers. They network like they're 40 years old.
Yeah.
And they still have their fingers in business. So you have to figure out whether or not you're going to speak with the seniors that still have some sort of business or that are completely retired.
Okay. Let
Because
me let me respectfully um, counterpoint.
okay,
I believe it is the job of seniors to do cross age group networking, to network with younger people for two reasons. One, younger people should not network with younger people. And the reason I say that, they have student debt. Okay. They have their own problems of their age. And so you can't make any money networking with people who can't afford to hire you. So younger people need to learn to network with older people who have money, can pay them, for what they need for how they can help us. So that blend of younger people that don't have money with older and teaching them how to communicate with me. If you want to sell me something, you need to know how to communicate with me and what my needs are. Conversely, if you're struggling, I want to mentor you with my experiences in my life about how I can teach you to love local networking with everybody, not just, yeah, they have silos of the young, chamber members and they all network with each other. I don't believe in silos. I really like breaking down the barriers and bringing people together. That's my take on it.
yeah, well, no, you're right. The senior people, I'll say, because they can be anywhere from 50 on up.
Right.
They have the experience that they can share with the younger people. And so because the younger people, they think they know it all, but they don't have the experience to know it all. They know it all
Right.
on paper. And you and I both know that a job doesn't happen on paper. When I went through the police academy, it was like, okay, you learned everything. And as soon as I got to my first base, they said, okay, everything you learned in the police academy, forget it, because now you're on the street.
Mm.
So you have to go with it. So the seniors have to know that the juniors know everything on paper, but they don't know everything.
Well, Michael, you have a world of experiences that I don't have. You're a veteran. I was not a veteran. You worked, in police association, that kind of thing. That kind of organization, the kind of organization I had was at NBC in New York, which was kind of chaotic art, if you will. It was not systematic. It was more artistic, but it was very successful, and I had a lot of great mentors. But I love the fact I don't want to network with people that are just like me. I want to network with people that I can learn from that have different skills, different disciplines. So I would say that you and I have a very different blend of skills and talents. And that's why I think, as kind of a 1-2 punch, because I also believe that a division of labor is very, very important. Why work with somebody that has the same skills as you? Then you can do one thing and they do another thing, and you can bring it all together. So, anyway, I'm really excited about working with you. I think, and congratulations on coming up to your 100th podcast on YouTube. Big, big accomplishment. I am launching something I'm really, really excited about, that will take advantage of my background with NBC TV and radio networks in New York. I'm calling it the Spotlight Tonight Show, and it's putting the spotlight on people that are in local networking, in local communities, but also on people that can help people in local communities, even if they are not in those local communities. That's why I've invited you to be a guest on the Spotlight Tonight Show to talk about you, talk about Michael Foreman and how you have learned to love local networking and your take on it that's different than my take on it. So that's one of the things that I really want to do. And what are your kind of closing thoughts on this interview? I will create a spotlight about this, because if we talk for 20 minutes and if I can create a 6-minute spotlight on it, I might have saved somebody 15 minutes.
It's
If
true.
they if the meeting was not of interest to them, if they listen to the spotlight and they go, man, I want to hear that interview, then they we've told them what we're going to tell them. Now we're telling them, so let's tell them what we told them. So what's your summary of this?
Well, first and foremost, what you said in the beginning was to listen, right? That's the most important thing about communication. You think communicating, oh, that's back and forth. No, communicating is understanding what each other is saying. The only way for you to understand the other person is to actually listen. The problem I see with people networking, that they're thinking about the next thing that they want to say or tell the other person. Don't do that. You want to listen to them and react to it. And that's really it. So when you listen to them, that's fine. And the worst thing you can do when you're going to a networking event or a networking meeting or a chamber of commerce meeting is you're going to walk up and you're going to start talking, right? That's the absolute worst thing that you can do. You want to walk up, you can introduce yourself and listen. That's all. Wait for the conversation to come around to you. If it's something that you want to talk about, then put your 2 cents in. If it's not, then politely bow out and go to the next circle. You can always, because I love local networking. I love it. I have a passion for it, and my passion usually ekes out all the time. But that's really it.
Let me comment because I was listening. I've studied communication, not just networking communication, but human to human communication, because I studied it for decades because I love it. I find it fascinating. I believe that communication is life. So, one of the things about communication is there is a thing of completing a cycle of communication. So, if you're just talking, that's not communicating, that's not completing a cycle of communication. A cycle of communication is completed when I say, so what you're saying is, and I've listened, but then I say, I agree with that. Until I say I agree with that, there's no cycle of communication. So, in other words, we've got to complete it and find out, do you get an agreement with that person that they are in agreement with it or not? I could get a fax and think I communicated, but if I, No, I didn't read your facts or I don't agree with it. So it's not just, it's like getting a fax, but not asking if the person agrees with it. So that's how you really get into a meaningful connection and a long-term relationship is to complete cycles of communication. So I've heard you. I think what you're saying is learn to love local networking. And I agree with you, Michael Foreman. So thanks for being here. You've been a great guest. And we've become friends over time here by networking and through our mutual acquaintance of Abe Nasser and kind of hooking us up. So that's kind of what it's all about. You know, one person who knows one person who knows somebody else. So again, Michael, congratulations on your 100th podcast on YouTube. And I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you, Mike. I loved it. Great to be here and continue to love local networking because that is the base of all business.
For the Spotlight Tonight show, I'm Mike Hayes. Thanks for joining me.